Welcome to Remodel Your Life. We are shining the light on women thriving in the trades and remodeling their life into something better. Join a female carpenter as she interviews women around the country about the incredible variety of careers and financial opportunities for women in construction and the skilled trades. And now, your host, Camille Finan.
Good morning, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have a really good friend, Karla Diaz, who has agreed to come on the show. She's a little bit shy, but I hope everybody's going to welcome her. She's very, very talented woodworker. She's a wood turner / furniture maker with a side dash of an industrial designer. So Karla, thanks so much for coming on the show.
No, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, so we have known each other for a couple of years now, and you're from Mexico. You go back there very frequently. Your family comes, over and across the border a lot. You guys cook together. Like, you have a really active family life, which I love. And I feel like that part of your heritage is a really big part of what you do as a woodworker. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about your journey, sort of how you learned the craft, and then how your sort of beginnings with coming from a Mexican heritage might influence some of the things that you do now?
Yeah, right. Well, in fact, I studied business administration. And once I was in an office, I realized I needed to do something more creative. I could not stay in an office like for 8 to 12 hours a day. So I learned, like, my parents always put so much effort on building the house, like designing or the furniture. They care so much about things made out of wood. So I kind of got that love for wood from them, I think. And one night I started to dream about all the things I could do or make with wood. And I thought, like, maybe I should take some classes and learn some woodworking. And that's what I did. I had a job, a day job. And in the night, I would go to my woodworking classes every day. And my mom, in fact, first day, she kind of made fun of me. And she was like, hey, so did you have enough? Trying to make me feel like this is not for you. And I was like, no. Well, in fact, I realized I love it. Like,
yeah, it's
this
the opposite.
Is my thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like it even more.
Yeah.
So where did you take your first classes at? Were you already in Los Angeles?
No, I was in Mexico and I was working there. And there's this program for the government, kind of. So in fact, I was surprised there was nothing or nowhere to learn woodworking. I don't know. Here it's very easy, and apparently a lot of people are into it. But in Mexico, it's not common. It was very hard to find a place to learn, but I did it. So yeah, I started there.
Nice.
Back in Mexico City. Yeah.
And then what kinds of classes were you sort of taking originally? Do you remember? Because that's been quite a few years ago now.
Well, there, just basic woodworking. I learned to basically make everything with my hands, not machines. I mean, we would use them, of course, at the class. But in general, I learned to build with my hands, with hand tools, and I loved it even more. I think it's kind of I've always said that woodworking, it's kind of a meditation. Right. So yeah, so it was just basics, and then I got into design. I studied a master's degree just like to give it an extra. And that's how I got into it. I thought, like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And here I am still working on it.
And so how long after you started taking those first sort of hand tool classes and woodworking classes, and then going through the master's degree in industrial design, like, how many years did it take before you sort of were like, okay, I'm doing this full time? Like I'm sort of going to take these two, bookends and put them together and create my own products and then not work in an office.
I don't know. Maybe I took like 2 years of woodworking, and then I realized like, no, I cannot keep. They asked me at the job I had at that time. They asked me to keep going. They wanted me to do a marketing research, and I was like, I know I could do it, but I'm not into it anymore. Like my mind was completely on woodworking. So, and that was about like, I don't know. Yeah, now I have lost track on time a little bit. It was so long ago. But yeah, like almost 15 years or something.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, after 2 years, I decided like, I'll give it a try. And I started making custom design.
Mm-hmm. And
That's
so when did you start turning bowls? Anybody that hasn't followed her account, we'll link to it. She has a really interesting way, lots of people make wood bowls, right? And the bowl itself is beautiful, but you have a really interesting way of adding textures and patterns and beautiful colors. I love your color schemes. I think you have a real eye for that with the paintings that you do. So how did you when did you make your first bowl and sort of fall in love with turning? And then when did you transition to, I want to do something different with this and kind of apply your design eye to it and create your own style, right? Like I think your stuff has a real style to it. And I can tell right away something that's a Diaz bowl. Like I can tell right away.
Right. Well, it's funny because I used to build just furniture, and my friend, the one I had the workshop with, he always kept telling me, I have a lathe, the machine you use to do the wood turning, right? So he was like, I could build it for you and you could use it. And I was so scared, and I was like, no, I'm not into it. I'm not into it. And I don't know, it was like years of him telling me. But once when Instagram started, I don't know how I got into this account from this Sylvia Song is her name on Instagram, and she was making these beautiful bowls, and I loved it. And I was like, oh, I want to make something like this, and I got so excited. And I was like, okay, now I want a lathe. And he was like, I kept telling you. So I was like, well, yeah, and now it's the time. So I guess it took me like, I don't know, like 8 years or something. I mean, after I started with woodworking.
Yeah.
And
when did so once you decided to try to kind of get over your fear and try to learn the lathe, how long was it before you were doing bowls like a lot? Right. Because now you've done it for a long time.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it was I'm pretty savage. I always say with machines. I'm at the same time I'm very scared and I'm very respectful of them, but also I'm very desperate and I like just try to do everything, right away. So I would watch some videos on YouTube. And I just started to build stuff, and then it's funny because her stuff from this artist I mentioned before. She's very minimalist and very simple on the things she made. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. And I just kept trying. And I don't know why. It was maybe, as you mentioned, because of my Mexican heritage or something. Every time I finished a piece, I was like, well, what if I give it put some texture in it? What if maybe it needs a little bit of color? And that's how it started to, I started to evolve kind of, on what I'm making right now.
How did you pick your colors? Like, it seems kind of obvious, like looking at your stuff, like, oh, those all look so beautiful together. But then when I think about it, like, would I have ever picked those colors? Like, I would have never thought of that. Right. So like, how do you use your design eye to pick those colors that are so pleasing? Because there's just something about them. They go so well together. There's sort of a combination of soothing, exciting, pretty, interesting. Like
Thanks.
how do you pick your colors is something I've always wanted to ask you.
Well, I mean, first, I think I have to mention that one of my main goals was to make everything as natural as possible, because I do believe that we have to take care of our environment. So I started to look for the supplies I needed for everything to be as natural as possible. So I found the Real Milk Paint Company, which they make the paints with a protein extract from the milk. Well, anyways, sorry, I don't want to get into it, but they have a palette of colors, and so it's not very well, now it's bigger, I guess, but so I got to choose from this one, right? Like at the same time, it could be kind of limited because, of course, it's a small company. So, and then it was like that. Even though I like color, I'm very like introvert and very calm, like in general as a person.
Yes.
So I guess that those colors, that's what they reflected on me. Like it was color, but at the same time, it was peaceful. It gave me like some kind of peacefulness. I could say it that way.
Yeah, they're really beautiful to look at. They're very pleasing to look at.
Things, and so I don't know. I just love them. I cannot explain, or I cannot find a exactly reason, But the turquoise, I love that color. It's the only one in general that I use that is very bright.
It's the brightest one. Yeah, I love it too.
Yeah, exactly. And
I think it might be the one that got me noticing you the first time. And I think you also did a yellow. I love yellow. It's one of my favorite colors. And yellow so I actually am going to have you make something in yellow, like a set of cereal bowls or something.
Oh, I would love that.
But I love that yellow you use. It's a really beautiful yellow, like almost like a mustard yellow or I don't know, like I just love, it's so happy and cheerful. So, but yeah, you just have a really good design eye, I think, for color and how they all go together in various ways. And the way you even use black and white, right? And natural, I think is really pretty the way you do that. So, okay. So that's color. That's wood turning. And the bowls you make, and you make a lot of little like baby bowls, which are really cute, and some really interesting, pieces that are really timeless for the whole family. But I want to switch gears just a little bit and talk about the baby cribs that you make, which are really beautiful and really unusual, I think. Kind of walk us through the process of how you design a baby crib, and what do you really love about doing those as a piece of furniture?
Oh, that's a good question. And I guess I could keep talking like the whole day, but I'll try to be quickly. Well, first of all, when I studied my master's degree, I decided to do my project on furniture for kids, because I realized, I just thought like it should be something important for them, right? Like we sit them at the table or everything, and everything is big. Like
it's not made for them. Yeah,
exactly. And I was like, and I bet that affects their development. So I got into it. And then at that time also, between clients and friends, they started to have kids. And they asked me if I could make the crib. And I was like, oh, of course. I love challenges. So I started to do some research about the safety. Safety. That thing is one of the most important things about this kind of furniture. And I also try to make things fun, for them, because I thought the baby spends a lot of time there.
Exactly.
So it was better to have something that maybe something they could interact with, and then also it was another challenge to figure out how to open the crib. And I don't know, it was just a very interesting project. And and because I thought how important it could be for babies, I thought like, I don't know, I just got into it. And in fact, now friends are asking me to start thinking or designing or working on more stuff for kids, right? Like toys or accessories. Yeah. And I will love that. I think there's not enough maybe out there in the market.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of how a lot of us grew up as kids. We had more natural toys. Like, I don't know if you remember, but
yeah, exactly.
They
were
your
so
trucks.
Cute.
Yeah. Your trucks and a lot of things were made like almost handmade and they were smaller mechanical parts, right? Less pieces, less complication, but you used a lot of your imagination. And I just remember playing with certain things like that and just how much fun we had, right?
I know they were very simple and so cute. And as you said, like most of it was on us, right? Like our imagination,
and building a city out of them and all those things. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, so what do you have sort of coming up? I know you're going in a little bit of a it's one thing I love about you. You're always sort of designing and pushing the limits and kind of coming up with another pattern or style. And so, can you talk us through kind of this most recent pattern that you're doing and sort of the combination of looks that you're doing with the collection right now?
Yeah, well, first of all, as I said, it seems sometimes that I don't have enough with textures and colors. So I just keep experimenting on that. And now I got my new toy. I love new toys. I think every woodworker just like, sometimes I think that we work just so we can get more
more
toys that they were. Yeah, exactly. So I have this new carver and I'm just
going crazy with it.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, the last pieces I'm making are more like rough, like just hand-free carving.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's more than anything, what I want on a piece is that people can enjoy it. It's just not a functional piece, right? Like the salad bowls are a ton, I feel. And of course they are beautiful. But for me, it's important that people also enjoy them, like seeing them. And, as you say, like colors make you maybe feel peaceful. The textures give it more excitement. And it's just something different at the table. Like it becomes like an ornament. And
it's like a piece of art looking at it. Yeah. I'm already imagining my yellow bowls from you because I want to see them on my shelf, right? I have floating shelves in my kitchen. So I see all the stuff that I love out every day. And I eat a lot of salad and pasta. So I use those bowls like a lot. So I'm really excited about that. Do you have any shows that you're going to be a part of? I know with COVID things are a little bit different, but do you have anything you're sort of looking forward to that you might participate in coming up so people can see more of your, collections?
Well, in fact, it was funny because I was going to be at the Unique Markets. I don't know if you know it, but they are now in different states. And it took me like years to decide to get into it. I was like, oh, maybe next year. I was not feeling confident enough. And finally I did. And then COVID hit. And it was like, oh, so it was canceled. And now I haven't checked. I'm with this time, like, because it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Still a little bit. I just decided, or I just got into the workshop more, like how they say, like, sorry, I can't find the word in English, but like got immersed in my workshop, like experimenting and making like working on a bigger production and then working on different textures and colors and everything. And I'm working on that. And I feel like once I have like the collection completed, then
you're going to go back out.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. That's great.
Meanwhile, well, there's my shop online.
Right. So, your regular stuff. Yeah. Well, I'll be excited to to sort of see what you come up with. I think it's going to be great. You've never made a single thing I don't like.
Thanks.
It's a big compliment. So on a personal note, though, I wanted to bring in your wife and just say, like, how proud your wife must be of all the stuff that you do. Like, it must be so satisfying, I think, for you to be able to have something tangible that she can see. Like, sort of what has been her experience with this whole thing, with you having this woodworking business? Does she love it?
Yeah, of course she does. She has like every time she needs anything, like, let's get a bowl for, a present, or for we have, I don't know, like when we have barbecue here outside, like, let's get another plate because there's more people coming, so in that sense, she loves it. But no, she also, she's very supportive, and I love that. And she's always like, don't worry about anything. Like, I take care of us. You just focus on your art. And I think she feels proud of what I'm making and what I'm working on.
Yeah.
So and I love that. So
that's great. And what about your family? So what does your mom say, right? And your whole family, all these years later, what do they think about this? Because it's, it's a very non-traditional job. Like, what do they express to you now after all these years? Yeah,
well, my sister loves it too. For example, she always also comes and grabs something from the shelves, and she's always giving me ideas. And my parents, I guess they're just the kind of parents, they just want their kids to be happy. So they're like, as long as you are happy, we are happy with it. And they also like love what I like. I guess. They're like, oh, I love this piece, or I love what you're making. So it's nice. They've been very supportive. Yeah. It was weird for my mom, I guess, that I didn't stay out in my office job, but she already, like, I guess she's used to me, that I'm not on the, like, a regular person at all, I guess, like, following all the what it's expected from a human being.
Yeah. So, you don't want to just be in a boring office. Like, you're trying to be an artist, but make stuff as well. And you're just serving people in a whole different way. Right. And I'm sure all your clients love all of your products, right? That they get to physically look at all the time. So I think it's great. Yeah. Well, I love what you've built around this. And, anybody that's listening, go out and, buy some of her beautiful bowls, and the colors, the textures are something it's very hard to find anywhere else. So, just sort of thanks for sharing a little bit of your life and what you're doing. And I'm going to place my order for some yellow bowls and one of those large black and white salad bowls, those ones that, that have the textures. I love both of you have one in black and in white. I love those too. The large ones. Those are really, really pretty. Yeah, I'd be happy. I'm also like open to, I just make certain amount, of bowls, for example, but I'm happy when people are like, oh, I need this, like, it's kind of fun to do something a little bit specific for somebody. Yeah, exactly. So, and I'm so happy. Like, as you said, like, clients just mentioned when they receive the bowl, they are like, oh, I love it. It looks better. So that's what I live for. So. Thanks so much for listening to Remodel Your Life. I sure have enjoyed being with you today. And if you really like our show, we'd love it if you would subscribe through iTunes. You can always send us feedback through email at Camille@remodelyourlifepodcast.com. And I'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Remodel Your Life podcast. This episode has ended, but your remodeling journey can continue. Head over to remodelyourlifepodcast.com to access all the resources, tools, and links mentioned in this episode. Until next time, Get your hands dirty and create the life you want from the foundation up.
And thanks again to Blue Apron. I just love cooking with them and so appreciate their support of my show.